Dating is hard, right? You spend all this time, money, and effort meeting someone, going on dates, and getting to know them, only to get ghosted or be told you're too nice. And now you're in an Olive Garden stuffing your fat fucking face thinking, maybe I'm just too nice or an introvert. Is there something wrong with me? It might be hard to hear, but there is. 66% of men are single and lonely, and I'm guessing you clicked on this video because you're one of them. Relationships are like a video game, and you're selecting the hardest difficulty without even realizing it. But what if I told you that in just 10 minutes, you could switch to easy mode? All you need is some simple psychology. Understanding attachment styles is the key, and I will explain each attachment style and how to leverage it to win every single time. So you're probably wondering, what are attachment styles and what do they mean? Attachment styles are patterns of how we form relationships and connect with others, developed from early childhood experiences. They determine how we behave, think, and feel in our relationships. Understanding these styles is crucial because they can give you a roadmap to someone's behavior, allowing you to predict their actions and reactions. There are 4 main attachment styles: secure, anxious, avoidant, and fearful avoidant. Each style has its own set of characteristics and behaviors. Knowing these can help you tailor your approach to attract and manipulate them effectively. Imagine knowing exactly what makes someone tick and using that knowledge to get what you want. Sounds powerful, right? That's because it is. Now let's dive into each attachment style and see how you can use this knowledge to your advantage and create your own cheat code to relationships. First up, the anxious attachment style. People with this style crave intimacy and constant reassurance. They're often worried about their partner's availability and can be clingy or overly dependent. But this makes them the easiest to manipulate. You can identify an anxious person by their need for constant communication and validation. They frequently check in, seek reassurance, and might express fears of being abandoned.
This behavior can be your key to gaining control. To manipulate an anxious attachment, use a tactic called intermittent reinforcement. This means providing attention and affection inconsistently. Be attentive and sweet one moment, then pull back and be less responsive the next. This creates a push-pull dynamic that keeps them constantly seeking your approval and attention. For instance, send them a thoughtful message in the morning, but don't reply to their texts immediately throughout the day. Later, give them lots of attention and compliments. This inconsistency makes them crave your validation even more, making you the center of their focus. By using intermittent reinforcement, you can make an anxiously attached person feel like they need you to feel secure and validated. This increases their emotional dependence on you, giving you more control in the relationship.
Next, we have the avoidant attachment style. People with this style value their independence and often avoid emotional closeness. They can seem distant or unapproachable, but with the right tactics, you can bring them closer. You can spot an avoidant person by their reluctance to share personal details and their tendency to pull away from emotional intimacy. They often prioritize their personal space and autonomy. To manipulate an avoidant attachment, you need to create a sense of mystery and independence while leveraging the peak-end effect.
This psychological principle suggests that people judge an experience based largely on how they felt at its peak, the most intense point, and its end, rather than the total sum of every moment. For example, instead of taking them out for dinner and a movie, try an amusement park. Ensure these outings have a memorable high point and end on a positive note, like taking them on a scary, fast-paced ride, and going to the Ferris wheel at the end to give them a magical moment to remember. This creates lasting positive memories in their mind, making them more likely to seek out similar experiences with you. By being mysterious, respecting their need for independence, and creating memorable high points followed by positive endings, you can make an avoidant person intrigued and interested in you. They'll appreciate your respect for their boundaries while being drawn to the memorable experiences you create together.
Now, let's talk about the fearful avoidant attachment style. People with this style desire intimacy, but are also afraid of getting hurt. They can be unpredictable, swinging between wanting closeness and pushing you away. But with the right tactics, you can make them putty in your hands. You can identify a fearful avoidant person by their mixed signals. They might get close to you one moment and then suddenly pull back. They often have a history of turbulent relationships and exhibit a fear of rejection. To manipulate a fearful avoidant attachment, use the tactic of hoovering.
This involves combining moments of deep emotional sharing with intentional ambiguity and withdrawal. For instance, spend a deeply connected evening together where you share personal stories and bond on an emotional level. After this, go radio silent for a few days. This creates a sense of loss and longing, making them crave the emotional highs they experienced with you. The unpredictability of your presence keeps them emotionally hooked and dependent on the next moment of connection. They'll constantly seek the emotional highs they get from you, becoming more dependent on your unpredictable presence.
Finally, let's talk about the secure attachment style. People with this style are comfortable with intimacy and independence. They're confident, trusting, and straightforward in their relationships. They might seem like the hardest to manipulate, but with the right approach, you can still have a significant influence over them. You can identify a secure person by their relaxed demeanor, consistent communication, and their ability to handle both closeness and distance with ease. They don't play games and expect the same level of honesty and transparency in return. To influence a secure attachment, appeal to their sense of stability and trust, but also use the tactic of moving the goalposts.
This means continually raising the expectations or standards they need to meet, subtly keeping them striving to satisfy you. For instance, start by expressing appreciation for something they do well, then gradually raise your expectations. If they plan a nice date next time, hint that you'd like something even more elaborate or thoughtful. By being reliable and consistently raising the bar, you can keep a securely attached person motivated and invested in the relationship. They'll appreciate the stability you provide while being driven to continually improve and meet your higher expectations.
If you found these tips useful, don't forget to subscribe. Also, YouTube thinks that you will like this video too, and they are usually right.